Hey friends, I'm here today with health coach Mitch Webb, and Mitch is going to walk us through kind of a lower body but sort of all body workout that we can do quickly. And what I've got is a 20-pound kettlebell, but you can start a little lighter if you're new to this. And I've got an 8-pound dumbbell and a TheraBand, but Mitch will give us some ideas if you don't have this equipment, what you can do.
Totally.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks so much, Kate. Yeah, excited to jump in and show you guys how to use some kettlebells. This is a great home workout to build strength, full body strength, and like Kate mentioned, you can use any weight and increase the difficulty with heavier and get a really good workout. Even with 10, 20 pounds, dumbbells are perfect here too. So we've warmed up with some yoga and some easy body weight movement, 10 to 15 minutes, making sure you're opening up your hips. I like to do, what are they called? Like some hip opener stuff, glute bridges, using the band work and doing monster walks. For me, activating the glutes prior to doing an exercise session lets me feel those later in the workout, so I can pre-fatigue those so that when I'm targeting those muscle groups, I'm going to feel it. A lot of people, including myself, have issues with glute activation, and it's a great way to start the workout as well. So, just 5-10 minutes of easy yoga, and then you can do some jumping jacks, some body weight squats, some push-ups, just to kind of get the body warm and prepared for the workout. Okay, so for the first workout, we're going to do a superset. Okay, a superset is when you do one set of exercise and you go directly into another exercise without pausing for any rest. And we'll rest after the second one. And so what we've got is we've got a squat to a calf raise. And we're going to do 3 sets of 15 there. We're going to go right into a wide stance push-up. So we're going to do 3 by 15 there. So we're going to do 15 squat to calf raise and then 15 wide push-ups, and then we're going to rest. So I'm going to demonstrate that, and Kate can follow right behind me. All right, so I just hold my kettlebell right here. And this is the squat, so we're going to go down and then up on the toes.
Don't forget to breathe, right?
Yep. Squeeze those glutes. $14, $15. All right, we're going to go directly into a wide grip push-up.
So just the hands are wide, not the feet, right?
Yep. Just grip the floor. And once you got 15, you can rest.
I have to teach yoga later. I guess I can put my knees down too, right? Instead of failing.
Oh yeah, totally. That's it. You don't want to sacrifice form. So yeah, going from your knees can be a great modification awesome. There. All right, so we want to rest maybe 2 to 3 minutes here, and then we'll go into our next set. Whenever you combine.
Go ahead.
So whenever you combine two workouts like this, obviously you're going to jack your heart rate up a little bit more. But you want to make sure that you're taking that 2 to 3 minute break in between to let your heart rate come down and prepare for the next set.
I've been listening to Trevor Hall. Do you know Trevor Hall?
That name sounds familiar.
Let me see if he's kind of like Nako and Medicine for the People. His songs are uplifting.
Oh yeah, I need some music.
Many gods, but no love for the people. My mama told me that we're all made equal. What we fighting for? Why we're still at war? Where's the love? Where's the love? So many prayers, yeah, but where's the prayer for peace? My papa told me that we all must serve and feed. What we fighting for? Why we're still at war? Where's the love? Where's the love? I got a confession. My heart's asking for a blessing.
And in between sets, you know, one of the things I like to do to help my body recover, if we stand in the same position, our heart rate's going to continue to rise. Normally I would walk around. Obviously I'm up on a deck right now and that's not going to happen. So I'll do like some easy foam rolling in between, keep everything nice and loose and bring that heart rate down a little bit faster.
Yeah, I don't have a foam roller at work, but I have my myofascial ball. So.
Perfect. I mean, you could even do like some bird dogs. We're actually going to do those later in the workout. You can do, I like to do 90-90. So this is a 90-90. Put your feet out in front of you. I'm just going to go to the side, sit up tall, open up this hip. Once you've done it once or twice, you can start to raise the back leg. That's going to activate the glute a little bit more. Is that the piriformis, Kate?
Yeah, we do these in my Shaga dance class, and it's like you can also kind of activate sort of like a wave here. Like if you move, say you move the shoulder first and then the hips, and then just keep moving and kind of like twist into it too.
Yeah, I like, you're right. I love adding that little twist at the end. I forgot about that. And that brings some QL into it.
I'm trying to figure out why it's called a 90-90.
Yeah, that's the degree you're making with your, if you look at this position, you
got yeah, that's right.
90.
This is fourth position for ballet people.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So we stay fourth position.
All right, I'm ready for the next set. So again, 15 squats and go up on your toes at the end, followed by 15 wide push-ups.
I lost count.
9.
It's good to have a counting buddy.
And yet 15 is a lot of reps, so make sure you're going lighter on these. All right.
Woo!
Yeah, that gets you, right?
Yeah, it is good to move in between.
Get lots of dopamine.
said, dropping bombs on the jungle, cause it's what God said. I'ma deal with that eventually. Song is fire, it makes me sick. The candle house, but I'm the wick, and I quit it. So many girls, but no love for the people. My mama told me that we're all made equal. What we fighting for, while we're still at war. Where's the love, where's the love? So many prayers in the west, the prayer for peace. My mama told me that we all must serve and feed. What we fighting for, while we're still at war. Where's the love, where's the love? All my troubles, how the sun. This one but goes by many names. Well, the wind was writing their own history, yeah. But on the backs of reality. So many gods, but no love for the people. My mama told me that we're all made equal. What we fighting for, while we still at war. Where's the love, where's the love? So many prayers, where's the prayer for peace? My mama told me that we all must serve and feed. What we fighting for, while we still at war. Where's the love, where's the love?
So one thing I noticed, I'll say before Mitch comes back, is when I go to squat and then stand back up, I want to use my thighs and my lower back. I have to actually think about using the glutes here. So, and that's kind of what Mitch was talking about earlier, is if you can warm up your glutes by doing, like, wrap a scarf or a TheraBand around your thighs and like just walk like a crab, or actually lean forward a little bit and lift up this leg behind you. This can warm up the butt muscle, but you're trying to get the glutes to fire. And we joke a little bit about the flat butt syndrome, but in general, people who are not firing their glutes are more likely to hurt their lower back. So the goal is function, the goal is to stay healthy. So.
Great tip. Yeah, I went inside and busted a glass Pellegrino everywhere.
Oh no.
That's one of my last ones. I'm upset.
It must be the full moon. I broke a frame, like one of Josh's favorite, like framed painted stained glass things this morning. I broke it all over.
Oh no. Whew. All right, last set. This is a burner. Admittedly, this is my first time doing this workout. It's a new one. My friend Jackie, she's a trainer, and she helps me even with my clients writing programs. So if anybody's interested in more of this, we can definitely put you in touch with her, and if you work with Cater Eye, you'll get a discount.
Yeah, I know. I want to meet her in person when this whole virus is over.
Oh, she's awesome, man. All right, 15 and up on the toes.
I'm literally thinking, squeeze your butt every time we stand up.
Oh yeah, the whole time. You can also push out your knees, and that helps. Woo!
All right. I'm gonna try to use my dumbbells to help my wrist here.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to your yoga class tonight.
Woo. Yeah, the only interesting thing about Zoom is teaching yoga, I'm doing absolutely all of it. It's not like I'm pausing to adjust anybody.
Yeah. We can change that up tonight.
Yep. I'm gonna get more water.
It's a beautiful day down here.
So this one, I feel like you could do this with kids at home pretty easy. I used to do a lot of squats when my babies were little and just hold them right here.
Yeah, man. Use what
And
you
they
got.
love it.
If you don't have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you know, a paint can, a bowling ball, a center block, you know, all these things will work.
I feel like even if you had 2 cans of beans, that'd be better than nothing, right?
Yeah, I mean, a milk jug, whatever. Take a thermos and fill it up with water.
Yep. And I mean, before we started, we talked a little bit about food, but I was just saying that since I already ovulated and I'm supposed to get my period like in the next 3 days. So because of that, I ate breakfast. This is, what time is it now? It's 11:15. And then I'm gonna have a smoothie and lunch. So I'm not fasting today. And I would not recommend women that are cycling that they fast right before their period, which we can talk about more later. But
yeah, and I'm doing kind of a fast. I had a bulletproof coffee, which is just like coconut oil and butter this morning with some collagen in it. That's plenty of calories. I actually added more fat. I put like maybe 2 tablespoons of MCT or coconut oil, 1 tablespoon of butter. And it's a little bit of a challenge, but at least I've got something in the tank. I would not recommend anybody start off with fasted training. That's something that you absolutely work up to. It's an advanced strategy. If you do it too soon and you can't handle that metabolically, it can add a lot of stress to your body.
yeah.
And then as far as food goes, after your workout, you want to prioritize carbohydrates and protein. I love throwing down like a quick blueberry with some protein powder in there, maybe like 30 to 50 grams of protein. And then when you're hungry, you can have your next meal. There's also a lot of benefit for growth hormone and testosterone. Even ladies can benefit from this by going like an hour, maybe waiting an hour. And I like to say when hunger ensues naturally, that's when you want to eat. If you're hungry after you work out, go ahead and eat. A lot of times people aren't going to get hungry for another hour. So figure out what.
That's what's in here. I did blueberries, a big like double scoop of this, which is the paleo chocolate.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
But it's just beef. And then I did a green powder. And I think I added 1 strawberry. Usually I add some banana or avocado, but I didn't today. But
all right, so next we're doing a 1-arm shoulder press. So you're going to you hold the kettlebell like this, put it right at your shoulder, and you're just going to push it up. We got 8 on each side.
Because of the sun, it's hard to see how you're holding it. Is it completely upside down?
Yeah, so it's like this.
Oh, you're holding the bigger part. I see. Yeah.
Woo!
I only have 10 of these. Is that how many you said?
You only got to do 8.
Oh, okay. I did 8. I think.
Towards the end of the set, it's a little bit heavy for me.
Yeah.
I just started using my legs a little bit more. And so there's no superset here. So you want to keep that a little bit tighter. So you want to keep it and drive up through your shoulder like this.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be out here doing this stuff.
I switched to the dumbbell for my left because I broke my wrist really bad on the left. It feels super wobbly right now to do 20 pounds. So
yeah, that's good.
I didn't want to drop it on my head.
You could even add a little bit of stability to that by gripping it upside down.
Yeah.
That's not too heavy, but that's a great way to add in some shoulder stability.
I should have had surgery on my wrist, but the doctors were kind of delaying it.
You get some stem cells shot in there.
I know. Josh is doing them now.
No way.
Yep.
Can you put them in my brain?
do you want an orthopedic to put a needle in your brain?
No. I heard of this. You may have heard of this before. I just heard of it this week. It sounds crazy. But some people drill a hole into their brain to relieve the pressure. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, well, for different things it helps, but you have to know what your diagnosis is first.
Yeah, that sounded crazy to me. I was like, what? And like the lady doing it looked like she was just using a stick. It didn't look like anything.
Oh, no. The internet has some crazy things.
She's also a big LSD proponent, so there you go.
Yeah, you know, a patient asked me about that this week, and I still
About what?
LSD in general, kind of for ADHD and different neurological things.
Yeah.
And what I, find more evidence on is, of course, ketamine. Oh, also depression. LSD for depression. And I find more good evidence on ketamine and also on psilocybin than I do on LSD. So I don't know.
So for me personally, if I may, microdosing on LSD is very speedy. I've had one of the most productive days in my life doing a microdose of that, but I've also every other time it's been too little or too much, and neither of those are fun. Like Kate said, absolutely, I think more safe and more efficacious is going to be microdosing with psilocybin or ketamine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that also the key there is a lot of us have addictive personalities, and with the psilocybin, you can start to, like 1 capsule or 2 capsules might be fine, but 3 capsules is starting to be addictive,
Oh yeah, well even this book I'm reading right now called Stealing Fire, they have a concept of the hedonic calendar. And so you use a rating scale and you put out things that are allowing us to, we're seeking these things because it's like a fourth drive for humans. We want to get out of our head, and you've got to weigh the risk with the reward. And, while microdosing is very safe and something you could do more often, having a trip or a bigger dose would be something you would do like on a quarterly or even a yearly basis. So it's weighing the pros, the cons, the risk, the reward, and putting it on in a way that allows you to integrate after the process.
Yeah, and having a therapist or a spirit guide there is what I would recommend. So
100%. All right, next set. We got 8.
This one. I'm noticing that if I extend my thoracic and I don't use my abs, then I can cheat a little bit.
Yeah, I have to cheat. I have to use my legs a little bit towards the last, but it's great to use your core for sure.
Yeah, I think if I pay attention to my core, it's actually better exercise.
Yeah, and breathing is another good tip of using your breath. That's an advanced strategy. You don't need to be thinking about that if you're a beginner, but down the road, using your breath so that you're, I don't know, filling up your diaphragm and then, I don't know, causing, what are you doing there, Kate?
Well, so one thing I wanted to say was, I used to have a diastasis where after pregnancy, I had a big hernia here. So I had to be really careful, like doing something like this, I had to pay attention to my breath. Because if you inhale and you hold the inhale, as you are pushing the diaphragm down, you literally push the hernia out.
Yeah.
So, and it's just increased intrathoracic pressure. It's kind of like, it sounds silly, but it's kind of the same thing I say to people that have hemorrhoids is, I don't want you to hold your inhale and do any exercise. Because you're going to push the hemorrhoids out, you're going to push the hernia out if you have a hernia. So
use that tightness and then blowing it out to
yeah, it would be better to exhale as you have to lift. Yep.
To hold it going down, build that pressure, and then blow it out and extend the weight.
Yep. But there are now, there weren't this many people 6 years ago, but now there's a lot online. If you have a diastasis, you can look for Hope Savara or Lauren O'Hayun or two of they're yoga teachers, but they teach specifically for diastasis. And they do a lot of lifting exercises too, so.
Nice. All right, third set. We got one more after this one. All right, how's that?
That was good. I just felt my right hamstring get tight, so I'm going to stretch it again.
Yeah, you're right. I even thought about using my core a little bit more on that one. It definitely helped.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of this flat butt thing I'm talking about. Like, if you stick out your ribs and don't use your core, you also kind of stick out your tailbone, So it's like.
And that right there is just putting a lot of load on your QL and your low back.
Yeah, whereas like slightly tucking your tailbone actually engages the glutes, and then you can tuck the ribs in a little bit, And
that's exactly why you keep the weight right here, and so you're stacked on your hips. You're, like she said, you're tucked a little bit, and you're driving up with this shoulder, not the low backs.
Yeah.
Low backs.
I mean, and that's also a conversation about pelvic tilt and how so many of us the bowl is slightly tilted forward of the pelvis.
Yeah.
And if we can be aware of it and activate the glutes, I think you will protect yourself from lower back injuries, right?
And that's why we've mentioned it a couple of times. That's why we pre-fatigue, so that you can connect and feel those glutes a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the term pre-fatigue makes me scared to do it, whereas like Dr. Matt used to say, you have to turn these on first, and that, I don't know, that sounded better to me. I don't know why.
Sure.
Because I think I was so scared of not being able to make it through the workout at that point.
But when you pre-fatigue, we're using body weight and very low weights and more higher reps, just so you can start to feel it.
Yeah. I think it's not just moms, but I especially see after you've had babies and you go to lift kids up and you do all sorts of things to lean over quickly, you're not ever squatting correctly. So I think starting back at basics is really important. But
Oh yeah.
that's just my experience, I guess.
Got it, man. All right, one more set. We're done. And if you guys were counting, I stopped after 6 because I noticed my form was getting ugly, and so we don't want to hurt ourselves. And if you notice your form is starting to fail, it's totally fine to stop there. Like, you don't need to push through it. And even with working out, I like the concept of greasing the groove, meaning I'm not going to failure. I'm getting close, but I don't want to sacrifice my form and risk injury.
I think one of the mistakes we make the most when we start exercising again is we do too much in the beginning.
Oh yeah, man. It's for me, I do it all the time. And my goal is frequency, getting out here as much as I can. And I don't want to spend like 2-3 days at a time recovering. And also, right now, we want to boost our immune system as much as we can, not suppress it with these soul-crushing workouts. You want to give your body enough to boost your immune system, not take it down.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of was saying this before we started recording, but I've been super stressed in terms of the number of hours I'm working. And what I think I'm finding is if I dance, for me, dancing is a workout, but it doesn't feel like a workout. So if I dance twice a week and I do yoga on my own a couple times a week, and then teach twice a week, and then do kettlebells once a week, that's actually all I can do right now in terms of my immune system. But of course, I've also been dealing with fixing my female hormones after being exposed to mold. So hopefully in like 3 months, I'll be in a little bit different place, because women really do need a little bit longer to recover after the kettlebells too. So
totally. Now, I'm also recovering from a traumatic brain injury, and if I do too much exercise, I don't sleep well at night. Yeah. And so my training schedule looks like I'm doing this kind of thing 3 times a week. In between, I'm going for really easy bike rides, and then I'm doing Kate's yoga class. What is it? Thursdays at 5:30 and Sunday morning at 10. And man, I'm playing golf. I mean, my back has never felt this good before. I can play golf as much as I want, whereas before, if I'm not doing the mobility piece and I'm not recovering properly and I'm hammering my body, I don't quite. Oh, my back would be killing me all the time. So
yeah,
it's all about balance.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think the walking, like when I take my dog on a 40-minute walk, my back and my neck are so much better that day.
Oh yeah.
It's just getting out there, and I can trick myself and say, well, I'll just do a 5-minute walk, but then I'll stay out longer.
Yeah, I did that the other day. Speaking of easy bike ride, I'm down here in Pinehurst at my family's vacation spot, and I was going for a 30-minute ride. It ended up being an hour and a half, and it crushed me. So I don't want to do that again. Bite off a little more than I can chew. Okay, so the next workout is kettlebell swings. The way you want to do a kettlebell swing is you're really using your hips and your core to drive through. I'm going to demonstrate that, but you don't want to be using your arms. Your arms are just an extension. So a kettlebell swing is back and then up, and you're going to squeeze your butt and pop your hips. So I got a 35-pound kettlebell. The reps are 12, and so I'll turn around after I do 6 and show you from the other side. So I like to start out like this so that you're not putting too much pressure on your low back. Arch your back a little bit, kind of getting like a athletic linebacker stance.
Yeah.
All right, and this is how it looks from the other side. Same thing we've been talking about. Make sure you're feeling those glutes the whole time.
Yeah, you know, when did we do this in my waiting room? Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, probably.
So we did swings, and I think we focused more on lower body that day, but that was Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. And Saturday, I turned on the Zoom to do my ballet class. And I have at home, I've got like a chair, right? Instead of a bar. And we started to do our like bar workout, and I just went like, and I was like, whoa, my leg is so much stronger.
Oh yeah, man.
Just from one workout, but like all of a sudden my leg was so much stronger. It was so awesome.
You send a signal and you eat, you're gonna build muscle.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing too, especially for beginners, you don't need to send a signal that often. Like Kate said, 1 or 2 days a week is all you need. And once you start progressing and that's not enough and you will absolutely know, then you add in 3. There's no reason to rush and do a whole lot. It's a long-term approach and slowly adding and building on the base that you've built.
No, I mean, and the way I look at it is I lose sleep because of my son having type 1 diabetes. There may be 1 or 2 nights a week that I'm up helping him and fixing his blood sugar. And so as long as I'm doing that, I don't really plan to push it too much in terms of 3 or 4 times a week working out.
Yeah.
But the good thing is now when I work out, I feel endorphins and I feel happy and I can sleep that night. Previously, when I wasn't taking care of my adrenals and my gut and everything, then I could never sleep after working out, you know? So I think if you can sleep, then that's a good sign.
So,
like you said.
Same here. If I go and I crush myself, I'm going to feel fatigued after the workout versus feeling a big endorphin boost. And then I'm not going to sleep at night versus getting a sound sleep. And I tell you, I'm a big proponent of heart rate variability. And when I crush myself, my HRV is crushed, my IQ is down, I can't focus, and I'm cranky.
Yeah.
But if I do the opposite, my HRV goes through the roof. I feel amazing the next day, and I feel really good that afternoon. So it's a fine line, and you're going to know if you did too much.
Yeah, and I think the problem is sometimes people approach it as all or nothing. And I mean, you could do kettlebells once a month and it would be better than 0 times a month, you know? So
I mean, even like once every 10 days, this is once every 2 weeks, it's a great workout. I mean, even, you know, if you're doing your walking and your yoga and when you feel really good, you can do something like this.
all right, so who needs like protein or electrolytes while they're working out? Does anybody need it if we're, say we do this for about 40 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you're at. If you've got some adrenal fatigue, I'm a big proponent of essential amino acids, and you can take those intra-workout. So maybe you could take either before, you could be sipping throughout the workout, like your gut doesn't have a whole lot of blood going to it, but it can handle a little bit of digestion. You could even put some digestive enzymes into the protein powder, and that's going to pre-digest the protein and make it easier to assimilate. Really before, during, and after if you want to. And like I said, I love the protein that she mentioned with like beef protein. And then I love essential amino acids. My favorite brand is MAPS, M-A-P-S. You can get that on Amazon, and you want to take anywhere from 10 to 20 essential aminos. What I like to do is take 10 before and 10 after. If it's a hard workout, I'll do it in the middle of the workout. Yeah,
I mean, Stacy Sims talks a lot about timing, like like especially I was saying in the second half of your cycle for women, but she really believes you should eat your meals and drink your drinks. So she's not at all against using MAPS, but what she says is it would also be nice if you could finish your workout and sit down and like prepare a meal, because you're going to get more of the balanced nutrients that you need from the different vegetables and all the protein there too. So
well, the big benefit of MAPS is you've got 99% utilization of the amino acids. Like, you're not wasting any of that. Next is going to be like whey protein, which is like 60% utilization. It might be eggs. I can't remember. Like, eggs are good, meat, but you're only getting, like I said, 50 or 60% utilization, where these are going to absorb in 20 minutes and go directly into your bloodstream. You don't really have to digest. So there's benefits, but like, that's not my protein source. That's just for my workout. Yep. As soon as I'm hungry, I'll eat a big ribeye or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
potatoes, blueberries, things like that go well.
Yep. The other thing I'm going to talk about this week on YouTube is malnutrition, and how we often incorrectly think that people that are overweight cannot be malnourished. And it's not true. In fact, people of any weight can be malnourished.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from what you're absorbing in your gut and what you're not absorbing. And 100%. Mitch and I, yeah, I mean, and we've both done our own nutri-evals where we saw which amino acids we weren't getting. So we could even put that up on YouTube. Just going through the amino acids would be helpful. Oh, I have visitors downstairs. Are we doing, how many more are we doing, Mitch?
One more set of 3, and then a superset, and then an ab circuit, but you can cut out the ab circuit and do that later.
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just going to check. I think it's my kids.
I'd say like 15 more minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, cool.
So the other thing I just wanted to mention was we talk a lot about, well, you see a lot of pictures on Instagram these days, and there's coaches and yoga teachers and all sorts of people kind of showing their abs. And what I have found in the last 6 years has been, it's not as simple as working on the abs or walking and running and doing other ab workouts. It's really internal too. So if you have chronic bloating or indigestion, which is, to be quite honest, kind of the standard in our society, it's going to be really challenging to have that like flat ab look, right? Because you're not digesting, which kind of goes back to the pressure on the inside. If you're not digesting and you're bloated, it doesn't matter how many ab workouts you do, you're not going to get the abs you're looking for. And I mean, Mitch and I have also talked a lot about having goals beyond just the physical appearance is important, but I think it's nice to do, like, everybody should do a stool test once a year and just kind of look at what's going on with their digestion. And I've been saying that for a long time, and I'll keep saying it.
Oh yeah, I mean, gut health is huge, and then also metabolic health. So if you can't burn fat, then it's going to accumulate in all the wrong places, you know. And there's a really cool study that I've heard about where you can't target muscle gain anywhere. You can build muscle, but like there was a really cool study where they had people do one-legged leg presses, and they did not train the other leg, and they did this for a series of weeks, and guess what happened? Both legs got stronger.
Yep, I saw that.
So putting in the time, fixing your metabolic function, you know, that's a lot of the stuff that I focus on and Kate focuses on. You get your metabolic function correctly, get your gut in line, and then it becomes shockingly easy to put on muscle. I didn't train for an entire year, and in about a month and a half, I've got a lot of my muscle back. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I've definitely had similar experiences. And also when I look at pictures of like 4 or 5 years ago when my adrenals were fried and there was a lot of mercury and a lot of candida in my system, I was so toxic. I wasn't burning fat, but it was also like my body knew you can't burn fat because that's where the toxins are, and we can't release more toxins right now, you know? So. Yeah,
and one tip that, as far as toxin goes, one tip that Kate gave me was taking activated charcoal before the workout. I really like that. And I want to say you inspired me. I went and grabbed a little bit of protein myself.
Well, the funny thing is, my other blender broke, and I had almonds in here. I forgot I added a couple almonds, and they're like chunky. I need to get a Vitamix. If anybody watches this video and wants to send me a Vitamix.
No doubt. Have we done 3 sets of kettlebells or 4?
We did 3.
Okay, one more.
Okay.
Dude, I went and found that piece of glass, stepped it right through my foot.
Oh no.
Got little blood trails all over the place out here.
I have sutures, but I'm not driving to Pinehurst.
Oh, it's not that bad. You know, another really good product that I like around for muscle building and both for brain health, creatine. Now, we want to take about 5 grams in a day, but we know that we can't absorb that much at one sitting. So what I like to do is I spread it out between 1 and 2 grams, 2 to 3 times a day. And it's a good to have it when you spike your insulin, so around food and exercise. So just now I made a little 35 grams of protein from beef powder mixed with a little bit of creatine as well. So it's great for your brain health. It's like a nootropic. And we know that we burn about 3 to 4 grams in a day naturally. So adding some of that back with supplementation, it's really cheap. And it's got a lot of good studies behind it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Americans in general are getting enough protein, but it's not great sources, right?
True.
So if people could focus on organic meat, or, you know, organic legumes, and if you're digesting them, and then things that are like, you know, protein powders need to be tested for heavy metals.
Big time.
And there's a good website for that too that I give out to people.
And if you're vegan, vegetarian, and all this beef protein sounds crazy, you can also add essential amino acids. Excuse me. You can add essential amino acids, and you can add digestive enzymes, and now you've got damn close to the protein availability, bioavailability that you would see from meat. So the digest breaks it down, and you can assimilate it a lot easier.
I've definitely met people that can do this vegan. They just have to have a little more planning, you know.
Totally.
Clean Label Project, it's called. Check your protein powder in Clean Label Project, because anytime you concentrate something, you're also going to concentrate the toxins. So they need to be testing and removing the heavy metals.
Yep. Oh, so Katie, Susie has a bad cut on her ear, and we've been using liquid Band-Aid, so I'm going to have to put that on my foot. That'll be perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so this next one, Kate, we hadn't done this one yet. This is going to show weakness. If you don't, this is something that I sucked at. I'm still not great at it, but in 2 or 3 weeks of this, I've gotten so much stronger, and that's why my back doesn't hurt. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a plank followed by a pull through with a kettlebell. So I've got my kettlebell, if you guys can see that. Yeah, so here's my kettlebell. And so I'm going to do a plank, and I'm going to reach with my opposite hand and pull it through. And pull it through.
Huh.
Pull it through. You're just keeping that core really tight. You should feel it in your QL and your low back and in your core.
How far do you pull it over?
Just like 2 shoulder. It's really more the pulling it through motion, because it takes a lot of stability.
Now, if someone can't do this, could they put one knee down?
Oh yeah, totally. You can put both knees down. And just make sure you're bracing your core.
Yep.
Yeah, Jackie, the one that I mentioned at the beginning of this, the athletic trainer that gave me this workout, she's so good. She can even do this over Skype or Zoom and see you do certain movements.
Yeah.
And so even me, I'm a health coach. I've been working out since I was, in 3rd grade. Been pretty strong, but I've also gotten strong in the wrong places. So I've got a lot of imbalances, but I make up for it with the other muscles. But and a lot of coaches aren't going to see that, but a good coach is going to know what's going on. And she designed a program that really brought out my weaknesses, and overall has made me so much stronger by enhancing those weaknesses and still being able to strengthen the rest of the body as a result.
Yeah, send me her website or her contact info, and I'll put it below the video.
Okay, cool. Definitely. I'm going to write that down.
I have a list. I have a list of the things I need to post with it.
Okay. All right, next set, 10 more. Whoop. And you can tell the workout's starting to slow down a little bit, and we're really going after some of these dynamic movements and to strengthen some of my weakness areas, but it's not like it's just me. It's going to be great for anybody.
And when you're in the plank, are you trying to keep your hips from moving at all?
I kind of go back and forth. I'll even arch my back a little bit and really engage my core. And then I also try to stay really flat and make sure I'm not using the wrong muscles.
Lower back, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to use my QL, but I don't want it to all be there. I want it to be kind of spread throughout my core and my QLs. Does that sound right?
Well, the way I picture it, you don't want to use those paravertebral muscles, and you don't want to pull like on the disc of the lower back, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So I imagine
stabilizer muscles in my erectors.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And that's why my golf game has gotten so much better. Like when I first came down here, I'm in Pinehurst. When I first came down here, if I played one day, I couldn't play for 3 or 4 days. Now I could play every day of the week if I was able to.
I wish I knew to do some of this stuff when I played field hockey, because it's similar to golf in that you do a lot of like twisting, and you know, it's all one-sided. And we were always hurting our lower backs because we weren't training correctly, because, you know.
Oh yeah, I wish I did CrossFit. I mean, I'd be doing powerlifting. I'd be using all this and.
Yeah.
Right.
And being a woman in college, they didn't have any. The men got the better support, you know, in terms of.
All right, we'll rest up, and we got one more superset, and we're done. There's an ab circuit to this as well. You know, you could easily, we're not going to record that. Kate's got somebody downstairs, but you can easily do, you know, some crunches, some more planks, some butterfly kicks, 6 inches, things like that. And so I would recommend 3 by maybe 15 to 20 reps. And you can do that in a superset. We just go bang, 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 and rest. That's what I'm going to be doing whenever we get off. Sometimes if I don't have time for my abs, I'll do those in between as like a recovery day to have like an active recovery, get some blood flowing in between my workouts.
Yeah, I'll also, if any women are watching this that have diastasis, I'll also post some info in terms of ab work so they don't make it worse.
All right, so this is a new one for me. So we're going to do a single leg fire hydrant into a kickback into an extension. Kate, you might be able to show this better than I do, but I'm going to try my best.
It sounds like yoga when we go from warrior 2 and then we pick up the you know, like how I'll have you do warrior 2 and then you pick up the back leg.
Yeah. Yep. So you're going to do the fire hydrant into a kickback into an extension to open up the hip, and you're going to finish with the bird dog. You're going to do 10 on each side.
What do you do with your hands?
I'll show you. Now, so you're on your hands. So a fire hydrant is like, think about like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
It's like this, and I think it's just here. Definitely harder on the left side for me.
I didn't go left yet. Let me try. So when I extend, it's okay if my foot's turned out, or am I supposed to square my hips to the mat?
I have to lean on my right a little bit, but I think it's best to keep your hip square.
Right, okay. I think you should call this exercise bikini butt.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely, it gets into my, what's the muscle on your side of your abs?
I don't feel it there at all. I wonder if I'm doing it wrong.
Oh, I might be doing it wrong, trust me.
Latissimus or no? That's on the.
No, right here, your, what is this called?
I'm bad with ab names. Not
It's not this, but it's this. I can't remember the name of it. That's tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
It's ugly, ugly. But you got to start somewhere, man.
Yeah, I feel it like deep in the butt.
Oh, yeah, deep in the butt.
That's we have to tell YouTube if this is rated for kids.
No. Yeah, keep it PG, Kate. Calm down over there.
I let my kids watch Austin Powers because I'm clearly losing my parenting skills with this with the stay-at-home order.
Yeah, running out of options, huh?
I was like, this isn't bad for kids, and then I watched it with them, and I was like, oh.
I watched a good one. I watched a good documentary last night. Free Solo. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh my gosh, this dude climbs El Capitan. It's like the biggest, I guess, rock wall in the world. Nobody's ever summited it, and he free climbed it.
Wow.
It was, I mean, dude, any second you're dying. He's like, imagine, I mean, you can relate to this. He's like, imagine being in a yoga class, and you've got to hold the hardest position. You got to hold it for the entire class while the teacher smacks you with it, and then if you don't hold it, you die. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I love thrill-seeking extreme stuff, and that's not for me, man.
I know the amazing thing for me about climbing is like their fingers and their forearms, right? Like,
oh, dude, his toes, like
yep.
Watching him do yoga. He was doing yoga the whole time, all his hip openers.
Yep.
Watching him do this, and after he got done, he was doing fingertip pull-up. After he'd climbed that from 4 a.m. until like it was like a 10, 12-hour climb, which that's amazing in itself.
No, that's crazy.
Fingertip pull-ups in his van later doing that, just like strengthening that area. I'm like, oh my God.
Maybe we should watch. If we watch that, we'll be motivated to do kettlebells every 10 days. It'll be.
Yeah, you're like a weenie. Yeah, this kind of hurts me because I'm on a really rough surface. I'm gonna try to double up the mat. Oh yeah, that helps a lot. I never thought I'd be doing butt exercises. When you're doing the bird dog, you want to touch your elbow to your knee And that can really work your abs a little bit more. And if you wanted to add a little bit more to this, you could put like an ankle weight on.
Yeah, my issue is my wrist's getting tired, so I'm trying to actually do fists right now.
Yeah, that works. I had hernia surgery years ago and quit using my core, and this has been, adding some of this stuff in has been huge. Woo! One more set, thank God.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Me too. I thought this was going to be the easy part. When you do the 10 reps on each side and then go into 10 bird dogs after that, that's tough.
This is
But
where I think
it's not like recruiting a whole lot of the nervous system, so it's a different kind of tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I can feel my heart rate coming down already.
Oh yeah, it's quick.
That's one thing that I think yoga helps a lot with is you're training yourself to breathe deep and to actually get your heart to recover faster.
Oh, your HRV and your nervous system, definitely. Like, I was about to say that, like, when you get in these challenging positions, even perception can make it harder. So what you can do, just like in yoga, you got to breathe. You got to breathe and you got to let your body relax as much as possible and focus on those muscles that you're trying to contract and only work those muscles. You start working everything else and it get exponentially harder really quick.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
That's right, man.
There's been a lot of road rage. I don't know if you could just hear that, but somebody's beeping on the street.
No, I couldn't hear it.
I was trying to drive here and somebody was like 2 inches from my bumper behind me.
This really brings out how it really shows you how some people deal with stress. People like us, I feel like, that have been through a lot, especially with their health, like I've got a second chance, right? And I look at everything just, I can get used to anything, if I've got a problem and I got to work for it to get better, like I'm willing to do that. And if I got to stay at home and work from home, find a new routine and reinvent myself the way I do things, I'm up for the challenge. And like some people just haven't, maybe they haven't challenged themselves in the past. And so now I think structure and, sticking to a plan is huge. And working out has been one of the best things for me to feel good and have more energy throughout the day.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to my husband about doing this detox program I'm going to do in May, and I was saying, a lot of people need it because they're inside and they're eating crap and they're drinking a lot of alcohol right now.
What detox program?
I'm going to do a 14-day detox just with food, no supplements.
What is it? Like, what do you target?
It's basically like adding greens and protein and taking away gluten and dairy. So it's very basic, but
like a 30 kind of thing.
But it's safe for everybody. It's the IFM's detox program, the Institute for Functional Medicine. So,
cool.
But so I was telling Josh about it, and he said, I think I'm healthier now than I was a month or two ago because we've been cooking all of our meals. He's like, maybe I had, a little bit of alcohol a couple of times a week, but I'm not drinking every night. And I was like, well, that's not how everyone handles their problems.
Oh man, there's people that are really hitting the booze hard. It's like a funny thing on social media. And I used to be the worst of the worst. I mean, I'd find a bar open back in the day right now. But like trashing your immune system. I mean, alcohol can boost autophagy in really small doses, especially like red wine. I think microdosing alcohol is where it's at. But once it gets into more than like 1 or 2 drinks, I mean, I wear an Oura ring, right? I can see my sleep data. When I have 1 alcoholic drink, I'm cool, no problem. When I have 2, I look like I didn't sleep that night.
Yeah.
It's trash is your deep sleep. If you don't get deep sleep, you're not getting that lymphatic drainage. You're not flushing out those toxins. Now they're accumulated.
And the lymphatic drainage is what I talked about with Lynn on the immunity summit that's coming. Yep.
All right, last set. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Ready as I'll ever be.
The first part of this workout was like crushing me. I could feel my nervous system like shaking, and now I'm getting those endorphins and feeling really good.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I was just going to mention about if you are somebody who's been drinking a lot of alcohol, today's a new day, right? You can start over any day you so choose.
Definitely. And make sure you're using binders before you go to bed, maybe some NAC, and again in the morning. Even if I haven't slept good, I know that my glymphatic and my lymphatic isn't working really well. And so I'll take oil of oregano and I'll take activated charcoal, and literally in 30 minutes to an hour, I can feel a lot better, even with the course.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need B vitamins if they have, alcohol at night too.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another thing that gets depleted during the end of your cycle. And so women need more B vitamins after they ovulate. Are we doing 10 or 8?
10. I feel like these are so ugly. I'm going to have to shoot a video and send it over to Jackie after this. All right.
Woo!
All right, so now it's really important. This is just important as warming up, as cooling down, doing some long static holds. You want to do your dynamic movements in the morning. I mean, as a warm up, which is going to fire all these different muscles. You do not want to do static stretching before your exercise. What that does is it overextends your muscles. They're not going to fire correctly. But at the end, it's a great way to shift from that fight or flight nervous system into that rest and digest. And the name of the game when it comes to recovery is the person that can shift into parasympathetic. The quicker the rest and digest branch of the nervous system is the person that's going to recover the fastest. So if you can see, I've got my mat here. It's got a lot of sunlight going to it. So what I like to do is I'll do some static stretches like I'm going to show you here. And then I'll lay on my mat and do like a Shavasana for 10, 15, even 20 minutes to bring down my nervous system and recover even faster. And if everybody was looking at this house arrest bracelet that I have on my leg here, what that is it's called an Apollo. And what it does is it sends a vibration up the long bones of the leg, and it tells the nervous system that it's safe, that you can recover, And it can actually, it does a lot of different things. It can prepare you for the workout, and so give you some energy. It can help you recover from the exercise. It can help you sleep and help you with meditation. So, you know, I like to pull out every stop that I have when it comes to switching from that fight or flight back to the rest of digest.
Yeah, and Mitch, was it on during the workout, doing anything during the workout, or no?
For the first 15 minutes of the workout, I had it on like an energy and wake up. So it's like these kind of strong pulses to send, it's kind of like a cup of coffee, if you will. And I also was chewing a little bit of additive-free nicotine gum. You know, Nicorette and those kind of things have like sugar alcohols and some nasty fillers in there. I don't necessarily think that nicotine is a bad thing in small doses, but you do want to avoid like the nasty stuff that comes along with it. So a brand that I like is, I'm blanking on it. If I think about it, I'll mention it, but it's a, is it Lucky? I think it's Lucky. No, that's not right. Hold on. Lucy. It's Lucy gum, and so it doesn't have a lot of nasty additives and things like that, and it's a small dose. So you can consider it nootropic. It's good for creativity and giving a little bit of energy without pushing the nervous system too far.
Yeah, and you know, and genetically, I think some people respond much better to the nicotine than others. I also found the touch point bracelet because
it's definitely a cheaper option, but you can't. It's more like, I think it was slow, medium, and fast. It doesn't give you as much options, so it just depends on what your budget looks like. And I know you can make payments on the Apollo, and it's only like $50 a month or something like that.
But they're out of stock right now.
The Apollo is?
Yeah, that's why I was looking for an alternative.
You know, Ben Greenfield called it plant medicine on your wrist. And that's going back to the psilocybin and LSD comments we're making. But I noticed, especially for meditation, I can get a lot deeper faster. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'll shift it into recovery mode, and I'll have it recovering. I'll be doing that for the rest of the day.
Yep. And do you find, does recovery have any effect on your brain power? Like if you needed to see a client right now and work, would you be fine?
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing like it. So it has like, when I talk to clients, there's a clear and focused, and there's also a social and open. And social and open is great for like, maybe I'm not feeling like being very social. It absolutely brings it out. And then the clear and focused helps me like really, I get excited. I want to make a lot of different suggestions, but if I go in like with what I want, that's probably not what the client wants. So it allows me to kind of sit and listen and be clear and focused on what they're saying, and not like what I want them to be doing.
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up, because I was on a website looking to design t-shirts for my clinic for the Functional Medicine Center, and I saw someone had designed a t-shirt that said like something like, go back and try what your physician assistant told you to do. In other words, it was basically a t-shirt kind of like venting or complaining that like the provider tells the patient what to do and they don't listen, right? And I was thinking that's part of the problem with the medical system, is we have it completely backwards. Like we're not actually working with the patient. We're just, a lot of times providers are just assigning the patient with a task without giving them the tools, right, to do it. So
yeah, you gotta really know where the person's at and meet them where they're at. I mean, yeah, what works right now it works right now, but it might not work in 6 months, and people are all over the map. I mean, I see patterns, but everybody's different. And I'm sure you see a whole lot more of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think something that's also valuable as the client is, you know, as you hang up or as you walk out of the office, stop and think, do you have the best chemistry with this person? Because it's a little bit like there's an unspoken intuition that goes when you meet someone, and not everybody is for everybody either. So
when I interview a client, I am interviewing them and they are interviewing me. And if I take on somebody that's not a good fit for me, I'm not a good fit for them, that's not going to be a successful relationship. I would rather give you some tools, point you in the right direction, and recommend somebody that can help instead of trying to take it on myself. And maybe for like financial reasons, like that, even, you know, as a health coach, you think like, oh, I'm just getting started like I am, and I need to take this person on so I can pay my bills. And you're doing a disservice to yourself and the client if you're not properly vetting that person and being sure it's a good fit for both parties.
Yeah, and I mean, and the flip side of that is I've seen patients that have given somebody every penny that they had, and really the personality, there was a personality clash there, you know.
Oh, dude, like me, I've worked with, you know, I had a lot of Lyme disease and mold exposure, heavy metals, diabetes, you name it. And when I met Kate, I was really at a place where I was unwilling to speak with anybody because I had worked at such a high level. I didn't think many people could meet me there. And Kate sat down with me for freaking 4 hours, and we just connected, and we're in the same train of thought. And it's we both contribute to the conversation, and it's just so important to find somebody that works for you and can meet you where you're at.
I definitely don't have all the answers though, but I think I haven't been afraid to tell you when I don't have the answer, so that's good. All right, well, let's end there, and good luck and enjoy, and take it one day at a time. And even if this was too long, even if people just picked one exercise to work on once a day, I think that'd be awesome. So
yeah, if you're gonna pick one, I would say get familiar with the kettlebell swing, and then, you know, I would focus on squats, push-ups, and then try to learn the kettlebell swing. And if you're doing squats and push-ups, and maybe you're doing 3 sets of 8 to 10, you're killing it. You're doing great. Remember to rest for 1 to 2 minutes in between. Make sure you warm up and cool down properly, and most of all, enjoy yourself.
Awesome. Thanks
Okay.
so much, Mitch. And I'll put I will put your website up, but it's primallift.com. Primallift.com. That easy. Awesome.
Any of Kate's patients that are interested in you know, learning more about what I do, you get a free consult. You know, so we'll sit down for maybe 60 minutes, really get to know each other, go through that interview process that I was talking about, and decide if it's a good fit. And if it's not, I'll point you in the right direction no matter what.
Awesome. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine.
See you tonight.
Bye.